Hey guys, Cam here making a special appearance for droiddog.com. Taking a break from today's iPhone.com because I wanted to bring you the unboxing of the Sony Xperia Z. Now, I was fortunate enough to get hold of this unit from Phones for You in the UK, so a big shout out to them for sending me out this loan unit. Now, in the box, obviously you get your phone. There appears to be screen protectors. I'm not sure whether that's just special for the loan unit or whether you actually get that in the retail packaging. I don't know. We open this up and we get the startup guide, just give you a few quick tips on setting up your phone, important information, a ton of other FCC statements. Throw those away, and you get your Sony earbuds. Have a look at those in here. See, if I zoom in on those, you can see it's got quite an interesting design. They look slightly unusual, but being Sony, you're going to hope that they actually are decent quality. They'll give you a good sound, perhaps not as good as what you'd get from a bespoke set that you go out and buy, but nevertheless, that looks like a decent set of headphones to be included in the package. Certainly better than what you would get with BlackBerry. Here is the micro USB cable. You can see micro USB cable just there in packaging. I'll leave that as it is, and obviously your wall adapter. Very, very slim indeed. This is obviously again the UK one, but let's have a look at the phone. Let's power it up and see what this thing is like. Now, spec wise, what we're looking at here is a device with a 5-inch screen, 1080p resolution. I believe it's 1080 by 1920. That gives it a pixel density of 441 pixels per inch, which is rather crazy. Similar to a lot of the high-end Android phones now. You can see this unit's got a slight bit of dust on it, so before I give you the overall impressions, I am going to go and just clean this off, make sure it's all charged up, and I'll power it on and give you a quick tour of the hardware and the software. So I've powered it on, I've popped my SIM in, and I wanted to give you a quick first looks of the hardware. Now, like I said before, this on the front here is one of the main talking points. It's a 5-inch full HD display, like I said, 1080 by 1920, but powering this is 2 gigs of RAM on a 1.5 gigahertz quad-core processor. Storage wise, you're looking at 16 gigabytes of storage, and you can expand it using the micro SD slot on the device up to an extra 64 gigabytes, so you'll get plenty of storage on there. Obviously it's dust and water resistant, which is a big selling point against a lot of the other handsets. 13 megapixel camera, 1080p with HDR video recording, and a 2.2 megapixel camera on the front there. Now, actually on the hardware itself, around the edges, everything's very angular and flat. Been finished off with this kind of shiny, transparent plastic on there. Certainly doesn't feel like glass, I could be wrong. The micro SD slot is on the left hand side here. If I zoom in, you can have a good look at that. Now, it's one of the reasons I've kind of hated Sony, is because of these little annoying tabs they put on everything, but if it wasn't for this, it would not be water resistant and dust resistant, so I guess they've got to be there. So your micro SD card slot goes in there. Apart from that, there's nothing else on the left edge of your device. On the top, unlike a lot of smartphones, there is no power or lock button. Instead, you've just got a covering that covers your 3.5mm headphone jack, which sits underneath here. You can see it in there. On the right hand edge there, you've got the power and lock key, underneath which is the volume rocker switch, and on the bottom edge, absolutely nothing at all. Actually, I missed something here. Here we go. Next to the power button here, you'll see there's a little tab there. This is where your SIM goes, so if you open it up, let me just so if we open this up here, this is where the SIM lives, and it is rather awkward to get in and out of the device. It doesn't have a SIM ejector tool. Instead, you've kind of got to pull this really flimsy tray out the side of the device. Despite being quite a big device, it's still relatively light. It's very slim. It only weighs about 5 ounces, I believe. If you're in the UK or Europe, that's 145 grams, 146 grams. You've got your microphone here, front-facing camera and your earpiece, as you would expect. Now, if we have a quick look through the software, you can see it is very heavily customized. It's got Sony's own custom skin on it. If you open it up, everything looks different to stock Android. It looks different to your TouchWiz and your HTC Sense. But it does come with a lot of Sony's own software built in. So you've got like things like Music Unlimited, various tools like McAfee Security, all built in. Movies, Smart Connect, Xperia Link, obviously that's a Sony's own, basically it's a DLNA. You can send your video and etc. onto a TV, a Sony Bravia TV. It does have a Sony Bravia engine built in for powering your videos. Lots of custom Sony stuff on there. Not something that I'm particularly keen on, but maybe you like it. It's got Track ID, you can search for stuff that you're listening to, essentially like Shazam, I guess. Yeah, it's running Android version 4.1.2. It's Jelly Bean, it'll come with the device. Now this is the international unlocked version, so obviously when you get yours in the States or elsewhere, you may get one that's locked. You may experience slightly different packaging coming with it, but anyway, that was just the first looks at the hardware and the software that comes on this. There will be, hopefully, if I get a chance before I have to send it back, I'll try and get a full review up and a comparison between this and the HTC One, which you can see right next to it here, both very similar in size. But that's that. If you want to ask me any questions about this or this, you can do. I'm on Twitter, I'm at @TIP_cam, and I will see you again soon.